Awesome. So welcome to the third episode of the BlockchainMacca podcast. I'm very, very pleased to be joined by none other than Alastair Band today. Alastair, did you want to introduce yourself for the guys and girls that may not know who you are?
Awesome. Yeah, well, pleasure to be here and thank you for inviting me on. I'm Alastair Band, also known as Beard on the Block, and I am head of marketing and communications for WW Ventures. And prior to that, I was head of community at Boson Protocol. Got into crypto in 2017, I think, like most people.
Yeah.
A friend of mine from university, Angus, he introduced me to Bitcoin in 2010 when, before going on a night out at uni, he said, actually, I'm going to stay in and buy some Bitcoin. And I laughed at him. And then fast forward 7 years, he wanted to set up an event teaching people sort of super high level what Bitcoin and blockchain was. And I saw an opportunity. I was working recruitment at the time. You know, you guys are, well, we are all opportunists.
We are.
So I saw an opportunity to get the firm I was working for behind it, and they sponsored it, threw on pizzas and beers, and I went fully down the rabbit hole and haven't really looked back since.
Yeah, awesome. And I think if only we all had a friend like Angus back then, I think we all kicking ourselves. We all didn't.
I wish it'd been pushier. Actually made me sit down and buy some
yeah.
Bitcoin.
If only Angus
talking to you.
Yeah, if Angus could have just made you maybe stay in that one night and mine some Bitcoin with him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, good luck. When I was at uni, I was out 8 nights out of 7.
Yes. Well, that's university for most people, isn't it? Awesome.
Yeah. I was enrolled. I didn't really study.
So cool. So, Alastair, as you know, obviously the pretense for this video, we like to get people on within the space and kind of get their opinion on certain topics around hiring and recruitment strategy. The question I've got for yourself today, sir, is, in your opinion, what do you feel is the biggest challenge facing companies and hiring managers in this space when it comes to scaling and getting on new dependable talent?
I'm going to go with a very controversial opinion here, and that's that they set the bar too high for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You're recruiting from a niche talent pool, and if you know your stuff, then you should be able to bring someone on and train them up. Upskilling people is incredibly important.
Yeah.
And just because someone's touched a smart contract, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily like super rare, or setting the bar too high and people expecting you to pay the Web3 tax, as I call it, which is once you've been in crypto, then the ticket on your head is a lot higher, which I think is fair. There's a lot of money in the space and people should be paid fairly. But an easy way to circumvent that is to bring people in and train them up yourselves, or give people an opportunity to learn. If they are truly passionate about this space, then they might not have worked directly for a project, but in their spare time, they'll be studying smart contracts, they'll be doing security audits, they'll be just constantly learning. It's an obsessive space. And I think most people in here are in this space because they are passionate about it and they see it as the future. So that's my opinion on the biggest struggle. That, and you've got dexes that are just printing money that can just throw money at people as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you know, when you mentioned there about, you know, setting the bar high and expectations being high of talent, you'll probably be familiar with the phrase, you know, purple squirrel, that people sort of throw around within my industry, within recruitment.
Purple unicorn squirrel.
Yeah, purple unicorn squirrel. These things that, you know, everybody wants, they don't necessarily exist. And I think, it's an interesting point you make there about, you know, I know from being and engaging with talent out there that there are thousands of competent women and men within software development that would bite the hand off of a hiring manager to get involved and to upskill themselves. It's certainly, I must say, in defense of some of them companies and some of them hiring managers, it's certainly a trend that I'm starting to notice change. A lot more companies that certainly myself am working with, a lot of, you know, hiring managers, CTOs, you know, lead engineers are kind of recognizing that, you know, maybe let's take on a developer that's not got 2-3 years commercial experience within a DeFi protocol, within a DAO, you know, or actively in a blockchain environment, shall we say, and upskill. So it's certainly, I think, a changing barometer, shall we say, for the talent out there. But
Yeah, and I
ultimately,
think
like,
as there's more and more projects out there, there's more and more of a fight for the talent that's out there as well.
yeah,
And I think the fact of the matter is that the perfect candidate doesn't exist. You have to compromise on some things, and similarly for candidates as well. Maybe the perfect job doesn't exist, but if it ticks a lot of boxes and you're happy, then I'd say that's a pretty good thing as well.
yeah.
But yeah, I think the strive for perfection through the recruitment process could definitely change.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm actually going to break my own rule here of one question, but just a quick follow up with a little bit of like your community head on. Do you find it's better than for a developer that's maybe looking to get into the space to just, you know, be super enthusiastic about the emerging technology, and as well as, you know, starting to upskill yourself? Is it better to approach a protocol or a company, you know? I use Boson as an example because they're the first ones that pop into my head. Or is it better to, you know, live and breathe what Boson are about if you're a developer looking to be hired by them, for say?
Yes and no. I think there's two facets to this. One is that you obviously, I think, to turn up to work every day, and well, not every day, you have holidays and weekends, but you know what I mean. Like to turn up to work and write code or do any job.
Yeah.
Really, to be happy, you need to be passionate or at least have an interest in what the company's doing and trying to achieve. In which case, yeah, you should be involved in what the company or the project is doing to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's absolutely necessary for you to know the ins and outs and have been like super active in that community. Particularly as a developer, I don't think there's a direct correlation between the two. What I would say is that being active, getting involved in hackathons or bug bounties, anything like that, pushing things, if it's open source, pushing commits on GitHub, and just sort of getting your name out there, that's probably a very powerful way of doing things. Because I feel that the exact ins and outs of every project are so vastly different, but at the core it is technology. So if you believe in sort of decentralization and furthering this, I guess, movement, then that should put you in fairly good stead anyway. And if you're good at what you do, if you're a strong developer and a keen learner and that side of it, then you should have many options on the table, at which point you can then decide which one excites you the most.
Yeah. No, for sure. Excellent. Well, great. I think that's a really good point to leave it. Alastair, I'll thank you so much again for your time today.
No worries.
It's been a genuine pleasure. Likewise, as we do in all of the videos, I'll be posting the social links down to WW Ventures, and also a link to your social media, so viewers can check you guys out and look at some of the awesome projects that you guys are working with and looking to kind of work with going forward. But for now, Alastair, it's been my pleasure hosting you. I look forward to speaking to you again, sir.
Been great fun. Sounds
Awesome.
good. Have a great day.
Cheers.